They don't start until 6, so you like 6:15. That'll be fine.
We're recording.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Laird,
Present.
Commissioner Mill,
Here.
Commissioner Nicolason,
Here.
Commissioner North,
Here.
Chairman Freeland.
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Okay, just a note, the county commissioners give out, the governor actually provides the county commissioners funds every year to give out scholarships, so it doesn't come from the county, it actually comes from the state, but it's county commissioner scholarships. So this year, the county commissioner scholarship recipients, there were 3 of them, Brecken Vang, Emily Ruth Burkle, and Anna Agee. And then there's also a 4th scholarship that's given out that's a renewal from the previous year, so they've applied before and received, and then they applied again and they were given another scholarship, and that one went to a Carson Jump. So just wanted to put that out there. We'll move on to approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda while removing item C, the grant agreement between the Wyoming DOT and NCBOCC, SkyWest Airlines Part 2.
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion's been made to approve consent agenda, removing item number C.
I'll second that motion.
It's moved by Commissioner Milne, second by Commissioner North. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of MS 22-7, Mountains Edge subdivision. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, rules of the Natrona County Commission, and other applicable laws. Do we have a staff report?
So the case tonight is MS 22-7. The applicant is Susan B. Masterson. The applicant has requested to plat 4 lots to be known as Mountains Edge Major Subdivision. The property is located at the base of the mountain on the east side of Casper Mountain Road, just south of the Garden Creek Road intersection. The proposed lots in Mountains Edge will have 4 lots all around 10.5 acres. It is Mountain Residential 1 zoning, which the minimum lot zone is 10 acres. On May 9th, 2023, the Planning Commission unanimously voted to recommend approval of the Mountains Edge Major Subdivision plat with no conditions. 2 spoke in favor of the case. The proposed subdivision is within the 2016 Natrona County Development Plan and the 2022 Casper Mountain Land Use Plan, the 2000 Natrona County Zoning Resolution. The density for residential development is 1 unit per 10 acres. The subdivision has been processed in accordance with the applicable general provisions of the subdivision design standards of the 2013 Natrona County subdivision regulations. Health standards for sewage and water quality have been met, as it's been reviewed by the Natrona County Health Department, and lots will utilize private well and private septic systems. The Natrona County Fire Department did not respond with any concerns. The proposed subdivision has adequate utility easements provided. And the Natrona County Conservation District commented on the slopes and soil types. Erosion control and sedimentation risk will need to be addressed at the time of development as the runoff rate is high in that area. There are no identified flooding issues. So this is the location, the topography, and how the lots are divided. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay. At this time, is there any questions anybody had to staff?
Is this all in order?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chrissy. This time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of MS 22-7 to please approach the lectern. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of? All right, at this time, I'd ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to MS 22-7 to please approach the lectern. Anyone to speak in opposition to? All right, there being no one to speak for or against MS 22-7, I now declare the public hearing closed. Do I have a motion?
So moved. To accept.
I need you to. There's been a motion to accept Mountain's Edge subdivision MS 22-7 by Commissioner Laird. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
And a second by Commissioner North. Any discussion?
Just to note that we should be finding this with, in favor of staff's finding of facts and any conditions moving forward when you make that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for adding that.
You bet.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And I'm going to abstain from this vote. So the motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to public comment.
Everybody always claims we're talking time, so. Give them now.
No. Good evening. My name is Patricia Burgess, and thank you for allowing me to speak at this meeting. For me, this is personal, but what I want to share is a Casper, Natrona County problem. My concern is with Banner Medical Health Center. If I'm addressing the wrong group, please let me know who I should be speaking with. It's my understanding that it was the county commissioners who sold Wyoming Medical Center to Banner, so I'm hoping that you have retained some power of oversight since this is a county hospital. I would like to share some information that has come to my attention during our recent need for services. My husband was a very active and healthy man up until the end of May 2022. At that time, he got really sick. Beginning the 7th of June, we made 4 trips to the emergency room, which resulted in 2 hospitalizations. After 2 trips to the emergency room and 1 hospitalization, he was doing a follow-up with our GP, and he was in so much distress that she was able to schedule an emergency CT scan. He was then again admitted to the hospital when they saw the results. He was released a second time and given the big guns, antibiotic, in a second round with infectious diseases. It was during a follow-up appointment with infectious diseases that they had to find us an emergency source of oxygen on a Sunday because the hospital had refused to send him home with it. During this time, we were told that a CT scan showed extreme pneumonia. We were told by numerous doctors numerous times that we needed a bronchoscopy, but the hospital never mentioned it. In fact, they sent 3 doctors in to tell us it wasn't necessary. For 2 months, he continued to get sicker and sicker, and they just kept prescribing more and more antibiotics in addition to the 2 sessions with infectious diseases for a series of daily infusions. We ultimately went to UC Health in Denver and got a diagnosis that showed that what he had was totally resistant to antibiotics. I do not have a problem with his initial treatment because they were just following protocol for pneumonia. My concern is that when they did the second CT scan and came in and told us that he was not only not getting better, but he was getting worse, they should have done the bronchoscopy. Our experience is not unique. During this 2 months, we had numerous people come to us and tell us that we needed to go elsewhere. It was frequently suggested that we needed to go to Douglas for better treatment. We had many people say that they went to Colorado, Utah, or Montana because they did not trust Banner. I had 2 different people tell me that their parents were thinking of moving here so they could help take care of them, but after checking into the healthcare situation in Casper, they chose not to come. One concern I have is that we were in the emergency room for hours after they had determined he would be admitted. This was so they could get a room. When we were taken to the floor, we passed several empty rooms with 2 beds. I know they want to fill their double rooms, but when that's not possible, they should get patients to a room. My feeling about this is that we were relatively comfortable while waiting, but the poor people in the emergency waiting room were not. They were sick and in pain and should not have had to wait hours to get help when a bed was available. I knew that our healthcare was sketchy, but I did not realize that our specialists were leaving town in droves. At the time we were needing services, there was only one pulmonologist in town, and he was not taking new patients. This is probably why we couldn't get the bronchial scope. We did get to see him because he had seen my husband at the hospital. In our appointment, he told us he was leaving town and moving to another state. He mentioned trouble with Banner. I have since talked to numerous people who know of other doctors and nurses who are leaving Banner and practicing elsewhere. If we had stayed here, my husband would have died and just been one more old man who died of pneumonia. Banner could not have identified his illness, but they should have told us that they did not have the medical staff to do what was needed, and we should seek a second opinion. We are lucky. We're retired. We have dependable transportation. We were able to secure an oxygen source, and we have the ability to just leave town to get help. This is a community hospital, and I don't believe that most families are so fortunate. People have jobs, young children, can't drive, or just can't afford to stay out of town for days or weeks because of our specialists and because they've left. What I'm asking of you is that you get out into the community and talk to your constituents, especially those in the medical profession. Ask them about their experiences and what they know about Banner. My story is going to have a good ending, although we still don't know what damage was done to his lungs by Banner's not having treated his disease appropriately after they had determined what they were doing is having no effect. We wasted over a month while the disease ravaged his lungs. Please, just talk and listen. I hope you can make a difference for our community and that we can actually be a hub for the state. We are centrally located, and this should be a hospital where people can come to Casper and have faith they will get good medical care. Thank you, and if anybody has further questions, I would be more than happy to share more information.
Excuse me, ma'am, would you tell me your name again?
Patricia Burgess.
My name's Dallas Laird, and I truly sympathize with you. I heard what you said, because to get a misdiagnosis on a loved one and then go through what you did, I can understand how that has to affect your whole family. And I will say that it breaks my heart to hear what I've been hearing about our hospital, because I was born in that hospital.
So was I.
And so I've had several doctors talk to me, and I'm not done talking to them yet. I don't know that this commission now, though, can do anything. They've sold the property. I think there was an oversight that may have expired by now. It's a 1,000-page document of the sale.
I think you're right, maybe right, Dallas, but I've had so many people coming at me. I also hear that Summit is looking to grow, that they're working with the specialists that were here that left, some of them have just gone. And, I know that there was kind of a non-competition part of that pact. I'm hoping that Banner will get some competition, that they can get an emergency room, that they can grow, so we don't just have, what we have. This is terrifying, and I can't even tell you how many people came to me with horror stories. And like with my husband, had he died, nobody would have ever known why. He just would have died because his diagnosis was rare. But when the doctor says, if you're going to go to Denver, go now. Don't wait till tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow. We had less than 2 weeks for him to still be alive. I don't think most of the people in Casper are in that position to do that. So it's not going to change what happened to us, but I'm hoping it'll change what happens in the future.
Well, we have, the Casper doctors have just been fantastic, and some of them have retired, some of them have moved on, and a big corporation bought the hospital, and I'm hoping that they will see some of these things and get some of them corrected. Their CEO was down here and talked to us for a while. He came to my office. I spoke to him for an hour, and I asked him a lot of the things that I've been hearing. And, you know, I think we're looking into if there's anything we can do, but I have to tell you in my own opinion, I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, I don't know what we can do at this point, once you've sold a business and these time elements have run. But I'm certainly glad you came down and told us what happened, because I think people do need to hear that.
Yeah, and just like I said, please go out and talk to people. Once we got in the situation, I didn't have to go talk to people, they came to me. And even today, I had another story, so it's not like you're going to have to look very hard. And you may have the control to let Summit grow and be a good place to go.
Well, they're a business. They're capable of doing and making their decision of how they want to handle it. And I have heard, you know, the rumors of what they intend to do, and it's all a good thing, I'd say.
Oh.
But we don't have any control, I don't think, over those hospitals. I don't know, maybe Mr. Milne has some ideas. He knows more about that contract, I think, than
Yeah.
anybody.
I thought originally there was a non-competition clause, and I'm hoping that that's expired along with some of the other things. Maybe, I'm not political, maybe I don't know, but...
Well, I don't know.
If they come to you, check it out.
I don't know how we could stop any competition, but maybe it was in there. I'm not aware of that, but I'm going to look.
Okay, thank you so much.
I would just add to that as far as no compete or anything like that, I don't know. I do know that there were several doctors that left. I actually ran into one about a month ago that I thought was gone out of the community, and come to find out he and a couple other doctors are just like regrouping and opening their own practice or a clinic of their own. So not all the doctors have taken off, and I think that there's good things on the horizon for a few of them in coming in. I mean, it's not going to be, you know, emergency medical care or, you know, something you need right away, but we haven't lost all the good ones. So there's a little bit.
No, I had emergency knee surgery January 1st, and I had one of the old doctors from Casper do it, and I can't complain about my care, but I can complain about the care in the old wing and how crowded and how, anyway, that's enough. Just talk to people. It's not just my experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else for public comment?
It's funny, I met her in the hallway, and I'd been watching you guys all morning. Judy Jones, 335 North 8 Mile. I know where $98 million is. Maybe we could buy back our hospital. I think it's something we need to look at, guys. If this is what's going on up there, you're going to be next up there, Dallas, for something. And Lord knows we can't let them kill you.
I'm not going to be next.
I was up there.
Actually, I'm going in tomorrow.
I'll say a prayer for you tonight.
Thanks.
Anyway, I was listening to you guys talk about the investment of, what was it, 98 million in this one outfit, WGF, wanted to take, 10%, so that'd be, 10 million, and invest it, but they were also, weren't they the ones that lost money last time for us? The only thing I know about investing right now is mutual funds. They seem to be the most stable. So I don't think I'd be going out there and flying by the seat of my pants with taxpayers' dollars, and I back you up 100% on what you were saying. I was a little upset with Milne and Peter, the other, over this today.
And he's the only one that has $98 million, so I can't
Well,
even
yeah.
tell you about it.
Well, I didn't even, I did a Freedom of Information Act, and I didn't even get that number. I got the 12 million that you got from the 1 cent funds, but I didn't get that. But anyway, with that, we've got to do something with the hospital. And as far as the investment deal, I think you guys need to play it safe. I think you need to follow Dallas's rule on this. I don't know who got you upset today, but calm down. You were really gnarly all day. And then last, I see the nuisance thing has reared its ugly head once again. And you're right on that too. You can't pick winners and losers in helping people clean up their properties. You can offer, like you were saying, what was it, neighborhood cleanup where you take a roll off over to them. That's always worked. Terry Wingert liked it. Even Rob liked it. I haven't seen any changes in the land use plan. You guys haven't rescinded anything to adopt, even the protection for my grandfathering. So we still need a date on this, guys, where we sit down and go through some of this.
We're trying, but I don't know about it getting done.
Well, what's going to happen when you guys say come after somebody as gnarly as me again, and they take you to court and kick your ass?
You'll straighten it out.
I guess they will. But anyway, that's where I was at with today, is we've got to do something with this hospital. She's not the only one that's heard things about it, and they almost killed me the last time I was up there. They were trying to put my blood into a magnesium bag to put back in my body, and that would have killed me. And it's a good thing. You got to be your own advocate. When people are working on you, you got to ask questions. Don't be afraid to say, hey, wait a minute. I said, go get me an old Army nurse like Dr. Brubaker had. And she came in and straightened everything out.
Well, Steve is right. There are a lot of really good Casper people working up there, and they're doing their best.
They're doing their best, because I've got a girlfriend that works up there. It's the hospital. They're stretching thin. 1 sheet toilet paper, toothbrushes that are sharp enough to cut your wrist with. I mean, just the products that they're pushing out for the person in the room. I know plenty of people who've gotten, MRSA, and I walked around for 3 months with a staph infection from them. They're not very clean. I take a can of Lysol every time we go up there, and everything gets sprayed from the bed rails to the doorknobs to the toilet seat, because they're just not a good outfit. That was the worst thing you guys ever did, was sell that hospital. That was the worst thing you could have done for this community. So anyway, with that, I'll quit. See, I wasn't so mean.
Plus, it's really nice that you didn't wear your baseball cap.
She's got hers on though, ha-ha.
Rosemary Saban, 9460 West Zero Road. I had something to say to Mr. Nicolason individually, but since he's left, I guess I'll hold off. My understanding is that some people are upset that I was here getting a petition signed. Is that true? Nobody?
If you're asking me, I wasn't upset, but I did check it out, and you just can't leave a petition down there. It has to be monitored. And in a public office, I think the law seems to indicate from our new county attorney that we're probably not able to allow people to do that, where they just leave it there. Because I've never really seen one like that in a courthouse where somebody just leaves it there, but this is what I've been told.
Well, the Secretary of State had no clue on it. He researched it himself too, and he said he didn't see anything in the law against it, as long as she was with the petition, that she could do it anywhere.
Well, I think if she's with the petition, that's one thing. I think leaving it in the office, in a busy office that doesn't have time to monitor it, and then how do you check the signatures out and everything? There's a lot to that. So when she's going around with it, I think it's her business. She can do it, but you can't interfere with people's businesses. And right now, as you can imagine, there's a lot of things going on down in the assessor's office.
Madam Attorney.
Yeah, thank you. The county passed a resolution in 2016, and it's referred to as the Natrona County Public Forum Rules, and it outlines the rules for someone to use a traditional public forum. And the key thing for this is that some areas are not the traditional public forum, and there's no right to use those areas. So in 2016, they passed this resolution which includes an application to use a traditional public forum. And so I will give you a copy of this if you'd like. And so mostly people can talk on the courthouse stairs type of thing, but not in the halls. They can't solicit signatures or otherwise try and get to talk to people or assemble like that in the halls or any non-traditional public forum.
I thought our tax dollars paid for it. So why can't we? We should get to be more socialist every day.
Policies do not trump constitutional rights. Constitution gives the people the right to petition the government for grievance and redress of grievances. I was with the petition. I didn't leave the petition, but my understanding is that it can be in the office if the individual wants to have it in their office. So where I'm going with this is, you guys recommended that we contact our legislatures, did you not? So this is a way to contact our legislators with the power of the people. I'd also like to know how many of you have made mention of this or printed off a petition and taken it around and tried to help in this, because you keep saying that you have no power. The property taxes are out of your control. Is anybody trying to help out in this? I mean, I thank Jim, I thank you, Steve, I thank you, Dave, I thank you, Dallas, for signing it. It means a lot, but I think you guys could help us a little bit more. To over 650. I got 350 in 8 hours, 2 4-hour days. And I came down here on my own time at my own cost. I don't. I don't know what to say other than don't talk out both sides of your mouth. Don't say we need to contact the legislators and don't do anything and then not want to support us. And policies are, it's not a law. Understand? No?
I'm gonna do some Jeopardy song on this stuff, I swear to God.
Rosemary, I talked to a lot of legislators about this. I appeared at the Revenue Committee twice, telling them basically how you wanted it to be told. And so, but you can't force your petition to be left, like if you went, think about it, you go down to the courthouse, you want to leave a petition on the judge's desk, you're not going to be able to do that. There's just certain areas that in offices where they don't have time to monitor that. With you, yourself going out and doing it, that's a totally different thing. But if you go into private businesses, they may say, we can't have you doing it. And they have rights too, so they have to run their businesses. But these commissioners are all interested, I believe, in protecting the citizens of this county and allowing you to do your constitutional rights. And I think you're doing a good job myself.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay, we'll go commissioner comments. Commissioner Mill.
I'll try to be fairly brief. I know somebody needs to run here shortly. Find something, because I can't actually say it any better. This week we honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for their neighbors, their community. Natrona County Sheriff's Office put out a little thing, and I'd just like to read it because, like I said, I can't really say it any better. You may have noticed a lot of law enforcement wearing black sash across their badge. It's a mourning sash, mourning badge. In 1962, U.S. President John F. Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Police Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. Established by a joint resolution of Congress, National Police Week pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. Please take some time this week. Reflect on those officers that gave their lives for you, for our communities, and just be appreciative of that somebody is willing to step up into that gap. That's all I have.
Commissioner Nicholas.
We're getting close to Memorial Day, and that's a special day for the country, and I think sometimes we think of it more as kind of the kickoff to summer and a time for barbecues, and it is in many respects, but it's also a much deeper meaning, and I think that I also want to thank law enforcement for what they do for our community on a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 basis, and putting themselves in peril at any given moment and never knowing what's going to happen, when they knock on that door or talk to that driver. And so, those that did give the ultimate sacrifice, we are thankful and owe the deepest gratitude. I'm sorry I had to step out. I had to go over to a city council work session meeting in support of the health department, and sorry I missed out on a couple minutes of this meeting. We continue to work with the city on a number of items, including the health department, and we thank the city for their contribution financially to what we're trying to do over there to support all the good programs at the health department. That's it, thanks.
Commissioner Laird.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I appreciate hearing your views, and I don't think they fall on any deaf ears. There are certain things that we do that we don't give press releases on. I mean, I know what these guys are doing and the constituents they talk to, and what I see happening in meetings where we're trying to spend your money wisely and treat people fairly. At least that's my motto, and I think they share that. What past commissioners have done, they've done, and there's no reason to talk about them anymore. It's just what we can do now as commissioners living in the present moment, and that's what I intend to do. Thank you all very much.
Commissioner North.
I do want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and we do, Rose, we do listen to you, and we do support getting information to our legislators in different ways as far as changing the property tax. I'm not quite sure how many appeals we have gotten so far, but I know there's been quite a few of them. But I do think that we need to get some things changed through our legislators and improve the laws that we have. It's disconcerting to me to hear the stories about the hospital now and the different things that have come out of there. And I know everybody up here on this board has heard multiple things about that. And unfortunately, we don't have any control over that, other than just our voice.
You couldn't even replace it for the money you got.
So, but it's like Dallas said, that's something that happened in the past, and right now we don't have any control over that. What we can do is support the medical staff that we still have in this county that are supporting us, and support the ones that are still giving that care that's needed, and do the best we can and work with people. That's not an easy solution. I mean, that's not a good solution right now, but that's the one we have. And I do want to reiterate that, Memorial Day is for the guys that gave their all for us. They gave their life so we would have the freedom that we have right now. You don't think the guys that are still alive, but you thank them because of the friends that they've lost that were also in the service and have given their all for us. And that's a special time of year for me. I've lost a lot of friends through the military over the years, and I've worked with a lot of different ones. And I know how much so many of them gave to us, and how so many of them were put in situations they never should have been put in, especially Vietnam vets. They came back and they got spit on, they got kicked. They just got treated like they were dirt because they went and served our country. That wasn't right. I'm old enough to remember that. And I do want to thank all those guys that did give, that have served this country, that are still serving this country, and what they did give to us. So, thanks.
One thing I just want to reiterate, Law Enforcement Week this week, and it's not only the law enforcement officers that died in line of duty, but we should be thankful for all the men and women that put their lives on the line on a daily basis. So plenty of events going on this week in law enforcement community, and I just ask that if you come across somebody in uniform, thank them for what they do. We just had 2 funerals in the last week of officers that went out there, and one in particular spent 40 years of his life, and he got to enjoy about 2 years of retirement before he passed. So keep him in your heart and your mind, and if you see him, thank them for what they do.